This week on Monero Talk is sponsored by Monero.com wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero safely on iOS and Android too. Monero.com wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys. And by IVPN. Resist online surveillance with IVPN, a privacy-focused, audited, and transparent VPN provider that accepts Monero directly. Monero.com wallet and IVPN are trusted and verified by the Monero community. Monero Talk is also made possible from contributions by viewers and listeners like you. And supporting us is easier than ever by typing in our Yat, free speech money, into your Monero.com or Cake wallet send address field to send us a tip. This week on Monero Talk. Doug and I headed off to FreedomFest 2022 in Las Vegas, Nevada. We were happy to report yet again that it was a huge success. We served up fresh, gratuitous pour-overs this time and spoke to tons of freedom fighters about Monero, the importance of privacy, and true digital cash. Once again, thank you to Monero.com for helping fund part of our trip and the funds they provided for giveaways. It was truly a hit. Many were excited to receive a $10 Monero tip on the spot. Lots went on during this short trip, so please stay tuned for all the wonderful and interesting content. Douglas Tuman interviews Holly Ward of People for Liberty at FreedomFest 2022. This special edition of Monero Talk starts now.
One last time at Freedom Fest, everybody's wrapping up. You're somebody that we tried to interview from the get-go, and we just never got to it. Yeah. And you're kind of half the reason we're here, or more than half the reason, maybe most of the reason. So do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah. Hi, I'm Holly Ward. I'm here with People for Liberty, and we try to bring together and unite the liberty movement. So I spend most of my time behind the scenes finding people in a liberty space and trying to connect them and bring them here. And Monero, you guys are 100% a part of the liberty conversation. I'm glad you joined us. I'm glad you're here. So.
Yeah, no, I think when you first told me that that's what you guys do, I was like, well, what does that really mean? But then when we were here, I saw it in action. I was like, oh, I get it. So you basically... You guys are the connectors behind everybody that kind of knows everybody that's working on liberty-minded projects, and then you're bringing them together.
Yes, but people don't understand that they're in liberty-minded projects, and Monero is a great example. There's so many people here that believe in liberty and believe in freedom and financial security that have no idea about crypto, right? So they're having that conversation and starting it out, and then, well, do you know this? Do you know this? Have you thought about this? The more you can grow the sphere, the greater the movement grows. And it's just having those conversations, not dictating to somebody, here's what you need to believe. But the more you talk, you guys know, you've talked to so many people while you've been here. It's been a huge connector.
Oh, 100%. And like you said, it's the right people, liberty-minded people that may not yet know about Monero, crypto. Yep. A lot of gold bugs.
Yes, for sure.
What is your take on Freedom Fest? So you've been a part of Freedom Fest for a long time. From where it was to where it is now, give us kind of an overview there.
I think it's in transition right now. So it used to be a little more of a traditional conference, and it's starting to expand beyond that kind of boomer generation and really grow into there's another generation of freedom and liberty, and that generation is very excited about freedom and liberty. And I've loved the direction it's been going. It's getting kind of younger, a little more hip, and a little more open-minded, right? You would never have seen any kind of cryptocurrency, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago. And now, we know the team that's here, the Scousins have been great. How do we find more cryptocurrencies? How do we grow this conversation and this movement, which is what it's about, right?
Yeah, I had no idea how big Freedom Fest was. I think I learned that Trump had originally announced here at a Freedom Fest. Is that true?
Yeah, so Trump was a speaker, oh my gosh, what year? Put me on the spot. But no, that is very much true. And it used to have this kind of Republican leaning, and I think as people have started to open their minds, and there's a lot of people here that aren't Republican, that aren't conservative, right? There's libertarian organizations, there are left-leaning organizations. Andrew Yang from the Forward Party was here. It's really a talk about freedom and individual issues and how that can come together versus some partisan connect, which the more that happens, the more I like it.
Oh, for sure. And the uniting factor is liberty, freedom, right?
The uniting factor is certainly liberty and freedom, and I think the part that all of the vendors and exhibitors know is that's what it is. The attendees don't know that. The attendees come to look for their, top 5 favorite people, only to learn and discover that there's more. And if I'm interested in issue A, maybe issue B. And I like watching the attendees. Day 1, they're curious. They ask you all these questions. Day 2, they come by and take the sticker. And by the end, they're like, so Monero, I'm ready to trade. How do I do it? Where do I go? And seeing that is just so exciting.
What would your advice be to the general Monero community, people that want to help out? Maybe they're not coders, developers, but just want to help grow the adoption of Monero. I think you might have some good insight into how that could be done.
How you can grow Monero? Well, certainly I would argue
among liberty-minded people.
Okay, among liberty-minded people. So the first is talk about it. A lot of people didn't know what Monero is, and I'm big in like the Cuba space, and I'm very big in the privacy element of Monero specifically. Privacy and financial security. The more you talk about that and connect it with Monero, there's people that are 99% aligned with what you do that just have no idea what it is. The more you can have that brand awareness in spaces like this, people are excited, they're interested, they want to learn more, they just don't know what it is.
What do you think with that reluctance that we come across? There's a lot of people here that are like we said, are gold bugs. Do you think it's kind of a lost cause, or in 2 Freedom Fests from now, we're going to see these guys accepting Monero, Bitcoin?
Yeah, so there's certainly gold bugs here, right? Everyone about the gold standard. That's a very hot topic to discuss. But I think more people are learning and realizing that the standards that are set by the government, nobody believes in those anymore. How do you have standards by people? How do you have values set by people? And people used to think that's what the gold standard was. And the more you talk here, the more their minds kind of open. I would argue that the cryptocurrency space writ large has not done a good job marketing to maybe an older generation. And so there's a lot of people here that are ready for the message, know the message. They don't know what a wallet is. They just don't understand. But I bet you they'd believe in it. You just have to talk and come and be here. Don't segregate, integrate.
What conference will you be getting involved in next, do you know?
Where am I? So I think LibertyCon, I know we're going to be down in Orlando with Yao. We're going to be doing Students for Liberty. And then we try to get out, I'm doing a homesteading conference. We try to talk to people similar to like Right Monero, people that the space may be liberty-minded and they haven't thought about other issues. So like homesteaders and farmers. What a perfect marriage for Monero. I bet you no one's thinking about it. So
we're thinking about it. Yeah, we'd love to get that going.
Yeah,
well, the farmer thing especially.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's in Virginia. It's happening in, I think, September. I have to look it up. But, right, so when I go there, I'm going to talk about, well, if you do this, did you know about Monero? Monero is that privacy you're looking for. And they won't know. And it's how do you bring and grow and educate? So I'll be at different single issue conferences. And I hope to see more cryptocurrency. No one's here. I think you guys were like the cryptocurrency people here, which good job, Monero, for being those people. So
can you tell us some other upcoming, a resource where we can learn more about these liberty-minded conferences?
I'm glad you asked. What a great plug. So People for Liberty, which is where I work, people4 with the number 4 liberty.org. We try to be the home for the Liberty movement, and we have a 501c3, Home for Liberty, that we just announced. But we have the Liberty calendar. Anything that's Liberty-oriented, if it's a crypto conference or whatever it is, it lives on our calendar. Come, look, connect, and go to what's near you or what you think would be most advantageous to you. I'm always happy to help anybody get connected to any Liberty movement issue.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anything you want to close out with? Any last bit of information you want to put out there?
You guys have been great. There's been a lot of toughness. Monero, you guys have talked to everyone. I think you have been one of the most well-received people here. You have been so good at sharing your message, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you're leading the way in this conversation. And I'm glad you're leading the way in privacy. You guys certainly heard this a lot, but privacy was a big topic here, and you are 100% the private coin that no one else is doing what you're doing. And so I think that's been great. So more like, way to go, you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks again.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode. We release new episodes every week. You can find and subscribe to our show on YouTube, Odyssey, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go to monerotalk.live to subscribe for a full list of places where you can watch and listen. If you want to interact with us, guests, or other podcast listeners, you can follow us on Twitter. And please leave us a review on iTunes. It helps people find the show, and we are always happy to read them. So thanks so much, and we look forward to being back next week.